All right, viewers, welcome to the Bronco Country Roundup. I am Evan Sanford, and today we've got a full house. We have Chris Van Sickle, Carter Davis, Kevin Hyatt, and Chase Glorfield, and maybe more. Who knows? We're gonna try and get like 9 people in this thing. So, anyways, welcome and thanks for viewing. Real quick recap over the weekend in case you missed it, which probably you did because there was some other news. But we had a chance to sit down virtually with Reese Odiombo, former left tackle for Boise State, third round draft pick for the Seattle Seahawks, played in the league for about 4 or 5 years. I can't remember, but and then injuries did ultimately end his career. But he spoke to us very openly, very candidly about just life in college, playing left tackle, and then the combine process, the draft process, life in the NFL. Who is like the hardest defensive end he ever had to block? And spoiler alert, it's a former Bronco. So if you haven't given it a look, go check it out. You will not regret it. It's some very raw insight into what it's like to be a lineman at the collegiate and then the NFL level. And well, also just a big thank you to Reese for taking the time. We are very grateful for his time on a Sunday. When he was out and about, he made sure that he took the time to speak to us. So we are very grateful for that. But moving forward, today we have a nice recruiting roundup to talk about, and then we're going to have a little fun. We're going to try and predict the depth chart moving forward ahead of the Georgia Southern game. The actual depth chart should be released sometime next week before the game. So we're going to see how close we are. So we're going to have a little fun today with that. But moving forward, let's go ahead. Just some recruiting news. I believe we landed a quarterback. So, Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, we have. It's a guy that I talked a little bit about a couple weeks ago. There's been an article on it. I hope you all check it out. Hezekiah Melender, 6'4", 210-pound quarterback out of Athens, Georgia. Committed last night. Super excited about this kid. It came down to us, Georgia State and Akron. Obviously made the best choice. Gonna bleed blue. Um, I like comparing quarterbacks to other former quarterbacks, and the best one I could think of was Jalen Henderson with this kid. Good arm, good legs, can just do just about anything you want him to do as a quarterback. Had a great first week. They won 42-3. So, I'm not sure how much he played in the second half, but in the first half, he had over 100 yards rushing, over 100 yards passing, and 3 touchdowns. So that's a pretty solid start to his senior campaign. But yeah, I'm super excited about this young man. He's going to come in. Definitely is not one of those undersized quarterbacks Boise's had. He's 6'4" and all of 210. So excited to see what he can do when he comes in next year. So congratulations to Hezekiah.
And I just want to add for the viewers, if you've been following us, then and the name rings a bell, that's because we got to interview him. What was it, 2 or 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
So it you guys were very well informed, but your friends might not have been. So let them know. We get the inside scoop here at the Bronco Country Roundup. Tell your friends and subscribe to the Roundup. But that's my shameless plug. um. Anyway, so are any other recruiting news for today or?
No, that's all I've got. I had an interview with Dallin Grimes. I'm not quite ready to go into that conversation quite yet. Still got to write that up, but that is on the horizon.
Kevin, do
Excellent.
you have
Well,
do you have any unauthorized info you can share with us? Uh-huh.
No,
Come on, Kevin, Chris,
Unauthorized.
anything?
no.
I don't
Do
believe
I
it.
have unauthorized information? Yes, I do. Can I share it? I cannot.
Come on.
So just
This
between
is a
us
safe
friends here,
place.
right?
Safe place.
Yeah, just between us, and yeah, don't make sure it doesn't get out. No, I do have some. There is some things cooking on the future. Nothing that I can comment on yet.
Excellent.
Okay, that's better than nothing. I thought I was going to be stonewalled there, so I got something out of that.
That's called a tease. Called a
That's
tease.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
called bait. That's right.
Ah. One might say clickbait.
Mm-hmm.
I believe
Yeah.
I have this
I'm
term.
okay. I'm okay with us being labeled as
You won't
clickbait.
believe what happened next.
There you go.
These 10 celebrities aged horribly. You'll never believe number 3.
Ah.
Anyways, sorry.
Why do I get the feeling that I'm going to be number 3?
You could be. Who knows? You're a Boise celebrity, I think.
Oh yes,
count.
I'm a
They
celebrity.
could
Yeah,
count.
yeah. I hate going out when I'm in Boise. Just
Right.
people all over the town. Yeah.
Tens of people recognize
Girls
Kevin.
always catcalling you.
Oh, I know. It's just horrible.
All right.
Okay.
Moving forward, we're gonna get to we're gonna preview the offensive depth chart first, and I'm gonna start with the quarterbacks. And guess what? It's Maddox Madsen. Everyone, unless you've been living under a rock, you heard it's Maddox Madsen. He is gonna play Game 1 against Georgia Southern, and Bronco Nation. Just from the roundup, let's take a deep breath. And like
A Valium.
Pick both. Pick both.
I don't know. I think everybody has had perfectly non-insane reactions. I don't know what we're talking.
Very rational. Very rational.
Very rational. Very not over dramatic at all.
and
your internet's been down for 2 days, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. I don't know why that matters right now, but
just remember that Twitter is probably the worst place for discourse. And I know, having been done some Twitter rants myself before, like you never wake up the next day feeling like, oh, I'm so glad I went on that bender online. So maybe just like save it for like in-person discussions, or just listen to us on the Bronco Country Roundup.
Leave us a comment.
Yeah, leave us a comment.
Fight in our comment section on
Yes,
YouTube.
please.
There we go.
Please.
I like the way you think.
Please.
All right, but so Malachi Nelson is slated as the backup right now. And then I wanted to throw some love to Max Cutforth. I've seen him in a lot of videos online that the local media has been posting. He's been getting, it looks like he's been getting some reps. He is a walk-on from Skyview in Nampa. So a local kid getting a real shot, getting some reps. That's awesome. And so shout out to Max Cutforth. Keep grinding. We love to see it. So that's the quarterback position out of the way. Take a deep breath. It's done. Moving on. Which one of you guys had the next like really like obvious position, running back?
That would be me.
All right, let's preview it.
You go ahead, Evan.
I was gonna make a joke of like who is gonna start. The suspense is gonna kill me.
Man, we won't know until that depth chart comes out, man. No, there will not be a one and then an or. It will be Ashton Genty, numero uno, probably maybe in the entire country, in my opinion. Yeah, it all starts with Ashton Genty. This whole freaking team starts with Ashton Genty. You know, he's on every watch list. I went to his bio and I was like, I'm not writing down all these watch lists. This is ridiculous.
I'm not writing.
He is the
Lazy journalism.
preseason offensive player of the year. That should shock no one. You know, just an outstanding talent. In my opinion, the GOAT at Boise State. I know we've had a lot of good running backs, but it's just something different about this young man. He's come out and been pretty open and honest. He wants to rush for 2,000 yards, man. And that's crazy.
Bless you, Kevin.
But doable.
Very doable.
Sure.
Last year, splitting time with George Lonnie, he had 1,300 yards, 14 touchdowns, rushing. 5 more catching the ball,
Well,
And
he sat. Didn't he sit some games? Wasn't he injured and sit? I mean, at least
Yeah, if he
Couple
didn't
of
start, he
hamstrings
didn't
or
start,
something,
or he
right?
didn't play through a lot,
yeah,
through some
yeah,
yeah.
games.
Now,
I mean, he got
my question is,
1,300
how many?
yards in about 8 games.
yeah.
Yeah, how many guys did he hurdle though? That's the real stat.
I didn't see that stat, man. I'm sorry.
A lot.
A lot more than I could. So,
I want to push on something though, Chris. You said he's already the GOAT Bronco.
mhm.
What makes you think that?
Well, okay, I will say I take into the account that all the dollar signs he turned down to stay here. I think loyalty might be his best asset, in my opinion, and definitely what makes me love him even more. But if you think about going into the next level, what's going to make him great? He's got all those aspects. Catches the ball, runs over people. Just an outstanding talent, and I think should be the number one NFL prospect, running back prospect going into next year.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't want to steal your spotlight or anything. I definitely agree. Also, I've just had people argue with me about like, no, JHI is better, Brock Forsey, Eve Johnson, all that sort of stuff. It's like, I don't know. I definitely think Ashton Jeanty is RB1 when it comes to GOAT running backs. So I was just curious your point of view as well.
I mean, Jay Ajayi was my number one before Ashton, but I think Ashton's kind of overtaken him there.
How many running backs are on the Blitnikoff watch?
True.
I mean, this guy isn't just a running back. He's a wide receiver who lines up in the backfield. How many other running backs can you say that about?
Absolutely.
That's funny you say that because I was driving the store today with my wife and we were talking about. I told her I was going to be covering running backs, and I go, "So who's our running back?" She goes, "I don't know." I go, "Really? It's the most known player on the team." It was Ashton Jeanty. He lines up at wide receiver, doesn't he? Like, yeah, actually, you're not
He
wrong.
does sometimes, yeah. I mean, he
So-
played wide receiver in high school, and you can see why.
Yeah.
Absolutely, some of the best hands on the team, probably some of the best hands in the country, and
Yeah.
he's a running back.
Yep.
What I'm curious on is who do you see who do you see coming in behind him, like getting some of the other reps? Like, is it Breezy? Is it Gaines? A little bit of both? Like, because Gaines has had a great camp from what we can see, and he's really pushing for time. So what have you seen?
Well, I brought up Sire Gaines when I thought of number two. Number 26, Sire Gaines is a true freshman. He actually flipped his commitment from Arizona State right after Coach D got the job. So good on Coach Danielson. I watched some of his interviews. Obviously, true freshman. You can go watch his tape. That's great and all, but you don't really know what to expect. But I listen to his interviews. Just an outstanding young man, very well outspoken. He wants to compare his rushes to Marshawn Lynch. I think Evan's a little familiar with that name. Beast mode. I thought I looked more like Adrian Peterson. You can't go wrong with either. So, but similar to Ashton Jeanty, if you look at his high school tape, he lines up at wide receiver quite a bit, slot wide receiver. But by all accounts, he's tore it up already coming in. He wasn't here for spring. Right, Carter?
I do not believe so. I could be wrong, but I think this fall camp was his first action.
How dare he want to go to his prom?
Right. But he's just a complete weapon. 17 years old. 17 playing college football is ridiculous. So his upside is off the charts. Breezy Dubar, he played great when given the opportunity last year. Last year he had 62 carries for just over 300 yards and did rack up a couple touchdowns, 2 touchdowns. Name of his game is just speed, super fast. This whole room is just full of weapons, in my opinion, and we'll find out if y'all agree with me. I think it's the most talented position on the team, just as far as 1 through 4. We didn't even mention a guy that I personally have liked the whole time he's been here is Caden Dudley. He made the switch from wide receiver to running back. Did some great things, I thought, as a returner, kickoff, I believe. We don't even hear his name. I think he's always done good things with the ball in his hands. So, I think that just speaks to the depth of this room. It truly is the stable, as they like to say.
Well, and don't forget Dylan Riley. I'm just going to jump right in right here.
Freshman.
True freshman,
Right.
speed. And the thing is, most years, in all honesty, he would be pushing for number 2.
Yep.
And we're going to redshirt him. And this is a kid that's got legit speed, legit talent. And they've been talking about him even in fall ball. This is a kid that is that good. So, and we don't even have space to get him the ball. So the backfield is crazy.
It's crazy.
And I do want to fact check. Sire Gaines did enroll early, but it is still crazy that he is fighting for RB2 right now.
It is. I
Brom's
appreciate
overrated.
Well,
Rob is overrated.
Was he like 13 then when he enrolled early, or
It seems that.
I also want to put a plug in for Tyler Crow, another local guy that's on the team. He's your change of pace guy, right?
Baby.
His beautiful mullet, bowling ball through the line. He's the change of pace guy. He's in there to mash people, is what he's in there to do.
And I love his commitment to the team. I love the commitment.
One and only fullback on the team.
Yeah, transitioning from running back to fullback, he just wants to help the team. He just wants to be there for his team. I love that. I love that so much.
Yeah.
Wants to hit
stole my thunder.
No, you don't get it.
So I intentionally didn't assign the fullback position because I was going to throw that in there.
No, Tyler Crow's energy goes beyond your planning.
Permeates the building.
Yeah, it permeates through Bronco Nation. You don't get to.
Tyler Crow warrants mentioning twice. We'll get him on the flip around.
And EA Sports, if you're watching this, put him in the game.
Absolutely.
Oh,
please.
I need fullback touchdowns from Tyler Crow. I need it.
That's so horrible. What a
back dive.
Yeah.
Well, dang it. All right. So that's our running back position is absolutely fabulous. Real quick, let's go to another area where we are absolutely just have an embarrassment of riches right now. Wide receiver, Kevin, was that you?
That was me.
All right, let's do it.
All right, you want the starters?
Starters.
I'll give it to you right here. Flip a coin. Quite literally. It is so deep and it is so talented. It is disgustingly wonderful. But as far as starter, it don't matter. These guys, they're all so good. They're going to get subbed out a lot because how do you not? We need 12 balls in the game to get these wide receivers the ball as much as they need. You got Cam Camper, senior, Latrell Caples, senior. You got Austin Bolt, senior. I mean, you've got Chris Marshall Jr. You've got Prince as a sophomore. You got Chase Penry as a junior. It's disgusting, in a good way. I think the starters is I just think it's going to be the seniors.
Makes sense.
I think it'd be I think Cam Camper and the Latrell Caples are starters. I think whether or not Austin Bolt gets it or Chris Marshall gets it, flip a coin. I mean, in all honesty, Prince, he probably deserves to start more than anybody, but because he's a sophomore, I think that he'll probably be the one who subs in. But like I said, it's not going to matter who starts with this group because they're all going to get touches. They're just too stinking good.
Who gets the most receiving touchdowns out of that group?
Oh, okay. This is what I think. I think Camper gets the most. I think Marshall gets the most incredibly outstanding, and I think Prince gets the most 50 yards in, and I think Caples gets the most deep balls.
Oh,
wow. That just covers
so I'll give you that's how much I looked into this. That's right, baby.
Nice.
I don't know how to describe it other than it's just disgusting the depth that we have and the talent we have.
See, I was tempted to go Latrell Caples gets the most touchdowns. Prince Strawn and Chris Marshall battle it out for who gets the most deep balls. and then Camper is like nipping on all of their heels.
I think Camper gets the most first downs. I don't I don't know how to split it because they're all so good. They all have things that they're so good at. Camper has phenomenal hands.
Yeah.
Marshall, same thing, and incredible body control. Prince, same thing, height and speed. Latrell Caples, he's the full pack. I mean, they're all the full package. It's just how do you choose? How do you pick between them? I mean, it's going to come down to something like which one's the best blocker. It really is.
Yeah. Who's gonna make those blocking plays downfield when you get a guy get a in short range? Who's gonna make the plays downfield?
Yeah.
You can't make a distinction here between talent because they're all just off the charts.
Well, then, speaking of blocking, I think we need to segue to tight ends.
Oh, you got me excited.
Oh,
I do want to say real quick before we move to tight ends, if you're playing this on college football 25 on your Xbox or whatever, you just run 4 verts the entire time with all 4 of these guys.
Somebody will get open.
Put it out there and launch it deep.
And I was going to say this much: dark horse. And this kid probably, in all reality, won't see the field, but he deserves it. And he might, if anybody does. Cameron Bates, true freshman.
Mm-hmm.
Speed, hands, everything. This kid, he's going to be big time. Big time. But he's
I like that pick.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I didn't mean to cut off too early the wide receivers. We could talk for like 2 weeks until kickoff about the wide receivers and the running backs.
Real.
Those guys are so talented. They're going to be the heart and soul of this offense. Well, but not the backbone. And Karter has the backbone. But real quick, before we get to that, tight ends with Chase.
Yeah. Obviously losing a quarterback turned tight end Riley Smith from last year. He's the blocker, right? He's going to come out and catch some passes from time to time, but we did see the number one guy who you're going to see starting at tight end is Matt Lauder this year. I was looking at his stats. He played in 13 games, 9 receptions for 157 yards and 3 touchdowns. So kind of pedestrian stats in terms of receiving yards, receiving stats. But if you go watch tape, and I actually spent a lot of time doing this in the last, I don't know, I'm a nerd about this kind of stuff, last couple of weeks. Watch his blocking. That man is ferocious. And that's where they used him a lot last year. Hamden did was he just blocked, would leak out tight end. So that is what's going to earn him a spot as the number one guy, is his blocking ability. And earlier before we started recording this, Kevin talked about Dirk being the offensive coordinator. And this guy's seen anything and everything, every position. He knows what he's doing. He's going to find ways to use these tight ends. Hopefully, cross your fingers, boys and ladies, if you're watching, in ways that we haven't seen at Boise State in a while. I think we're yearning for some more tight end production. I think Matt Lauder's the guy that's going to do it. Another dark horse candidate who was kind of a big pickup when he committed is Villanova transfer Mitchell Bothwell. He's kind of gone under the radar a little bit since he's been on campus. He's 6'4", 244, came from Villanova, doesn't have a ton of stats, but he was a highly rated recruit. I think he's going to be your number 2 guy you'll see. You know, maybe you have short yardage, you have 2 tight ends in there. He's going to see some action as well. So you get some of the guys, Austin Terry from Oregon, Oliver Fisher, and then
that's my boy.
That's your boy. He's got a lot of potential, right? I think he could see some more time on the field this season goes on. And then
Fisher's from Oregon, Terry's from Washington.
Washington, that's right. Tumwater, that's right. Yeah. That's right. He's got a big old beard too. He's got a nice beard. Terry does. Respect the beard. Caden Anderson, I believe he had a knee injury senior year, pretty significant one after only playing for catching 2 balls in the first game. So he's probably not back to 100%. And then Matt Wagner, you guys remember him?
That's my boy.
Yeah.
He was committed to North Texas, and then we beat them in that crazy bowl game, and then he flipped to Boise. I don't know if that had anything to do with it.
I do remember that, though.
Yeah.
No.
That was the Matt Wagner Bowl.
The Matt Wagner.
Basically, whoever won got him.
Got his services. Right. So a lot of youth. Lauder's a junior. Mitchell Bothwell's a junior. The rest are sophomores or younger. So a lot of youth. Again, I think you're going to rely on them for a lot of blocking, but I hope to see a little more production in the receiving game from this group as well.
Excellent. Excellent. All right, Carter.
Let's
Round
go.
us off with the heart, or not the heart and soul, but the backbone, the big uglies up front, the guys who are going to get it done. Who is the offensive line? And then actually maybe a little update on from the very first episode, we talked about the right tackle battle. So
we did.
Yeah, we'll follow up there. How'd that go?
There will be a follow-up on that. We'll go left to right. Obviously, left tackle, Cage Casey. Obvious, he's already making All-American lists with Ashton Genty, so
that's a baller name for a left tackle too. Come on.
Right, Cage Casey. He's gonna lock defenders down or something like that. It could be pretty cool if we could come up with something. Not now, I don't know. Anyways, Ben Dooley is gonna be left guard. Pretty obvious. Center is gonna be Mason Randolph. Right guard is gonna be Roger Carrion. That's just set up. Yep, that's just all it's gonna be. From what I've seen and from what I've heard, my prediction of Matoyer taking the right tackle spot is not going to come true, and it seems that Hall Schmidt is going to be the starter. I'm just kidding. I love Hall. I'm glad he got the spot. It also seems that Jake Steele, Jason Steele's brother, the tackle from San Jose State, is fighting for the right tackle 2 position. He could take over. That's what I've seen. So starting off on the second level, definitely think that Jake Steele could take that spot. I think Matoyer and Cox are going to fight for that left tackle spot, but Matoyer could move over to right tackle. He could be kind of a floater. Left guard
might win out there.
Yeah, could. Kyle Cox could. Hopefully Matoyer doesn't get lost in transition, but that could just be how it goes. Left and right guard, I think Jason Steele. I think he's going to be a floater in between there. I think we got a lot of good guys, but he's experienced. So I think he can definitely fill in. Then we got Nathan Cardona at center. Depth is important, so all these guys can play. But I definitely think we got a strong starting front, and then there could be some surprises on the back end on the second level. But that's what I think we're going for in the first level there.
Okay. Excellent. Well, then, I guess we can switch gears to the defense. And actually, Carter, why don't you start us off with the defensive line? Will probably be maybe the strongest part of this defense is the defensive line. I think that's okay to say. Go ahead.
Yeah, I get the most talking time. We'd love to see it. I definitely think there's a lot of depth at the D line too, just with the offensive line. But first row, we're going. And by the way, if I mix up defensive end and edge, that's not my fault. We're making up names for positions that didn't used to exist. It used to be 2 defensive ends, a nose tackle, and a defensive tackle. I want someone to explain to me the difference between an edge and a defensive end, and I'll tell them why they're wrong because they're the same position.
I just want to know, Carter, who do you like in the 3 technique? That's if you can explain that one to me and let me know who your pick is for the 3 technique, I'll be happy.
Yeah, I bet. You mean the defensive tackle? Is that what you mean, Kevin? We're making stuff up, but I know. We'll get there. Defensive end, Ahmed Hassani. That's what I'm going with. Obvious, he's going to be there. Nose tackle is where it gets a little dicey because I really do not know. So we got Herbert Gums or we got Sheldon Newton. I don't know because Sheldon Newton, as we just talked about before, what was that? What are you saying, Evan?
I was laughing. That was me.
Okay, somebody said something.
Kevin said flip a coin, right? Flip a coin.
Yeah, could be flip a coin.
There you go.
I mean, basically because Sheldon Newton, he just got that new number. Chris and I talked about before how that's a very big deal. But, Herbert Gums, he's been there for a while. He's got the experience. I think this is like his 3rd season here. Feels like he's been here forever. 2nd or 3rd. So it's just really flip a coin on whoever is going to be, nose tackle 1 or 2. At the 3 technique, defensive tackle, I think Braxton Feely's going to go there. I think he's definitely been making some strides. So I think he plugs and plays. And then at the edge, I think is Jaden Virgin. He changed his name to have something at the end, but I can't remember. I've only known him as Jaden Virgin.
Jaden Virgin Morgan.
Jaden Virgin Morgan. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think he's the starting edge. I think he's got the experience. I think he's definitely is going to be able to take over that spot. Again, difference between edge and defensive end, I don't know, but it doesn't matter. Starting with edge to the second level, I think we're going to get Woodard, the Ball State transfer. I think he will be the
Baller.
second level. What's that?
I said he's a baller.
Oh yeah, he is a baller. I think definitely
he did
coming
go
over.
To Ball State.
He did go to Ball State, so he balled out there.
There you go.
I definitely think he'll be edge too, but we could have Joseph Marsh, JUCO transfer that we talked about earlier. I think he could sneak in, but definitely Woodard. I think there. Max Callahan, defensive tackle. I mean, he's just been around forever. He's a real grinder, so he could definitely plug and play if Feely ever needs a break. Like I said, nose tackle, flip a coin. If it's not Gums, it's Newton on who's nose tackle too. And then I think Tyler Weigus will actually be the defensive end too. I think this is his second year in this system, and I think he'll probably learn from Hassanin, and he'll get a chance if Hassanin comes out to maybe show a thing or two for us.
All right, I love it. Well then,
who's your dark horse?
Oh, dark horse. God, like I said, there's so much depth here that I don't really know if there is.
Throw me a Roman K. Wood. Let's get him some
There you go.
Roman K. Wood. You know what?
I
was just thinking, like, who's the guy that they've been talking about? I brought him up in the podcast before, and I was like, who is that? I think K. Wood.
I really think K. Wood plays. I think he does.
Yeah.
Corner Canyon produces some talent down there.
Yep. He's been talked about a lot. His name just slipped my mind, so thank you, Chase. But I think he definitely plays. I'm not sure where, but he'll play wherever they put him, and he'll ball out.
Yeah, I think he's good enough that you can't keep him off the field, right? Sometimes the guys just like that.
That right there.
And isn't K. Wood a true freshman?
Indeed.
Yep.
All right. Who had linebackers again?
That'd be me.
All right. What you got?
All right. So you got to start out with Andrew Simpson. I call him the clubbed assassin because he caught an interception while having a club on his hand in the bowl game, which is awesome. I don't know if I could catch an interception with both hands, so good for him. He's preseason first team All Mountain West. I really like his pass rush ability, actually. He just seems to have that feel for it. He had 6 sacks last year, 16 tackles for loss.
Wasn't that second on the team in sacks? Isn't that right? Or am I think, isn't that right?
Well, I'll look into it right now.
Behind Hassan.
There we go.
I guess.
Prove me wrong.
Chase, you come in with that when you have it. But
okay.
Yeah, he's a great overall player, runs sideline to sideline really well. 2 forced fumbles as well. He just makes all the plays. Then coming back from a couple banged up seasons is Marco Notriani. I believe that's how you pronounce it, Notriani.
Okay. As far as I'm aware, you nailed it.
There we go.
Hey, real quick, sorry. Yeah, Andrew Simpson was second on the team with 6.5 sacks.
There you go, baby.
It was Braxton Feely with 3.
Oof, that's a steep decrease from Hassan. Yeah. Anyways, yes, 53, Marco Notriani. Like I said, he's had some rough luck with injuries, but when he's healthy, he's been outstanding. Honestly, kind of reminds me of DJ Schramm. He's going to be in the middle there. And then a name that we've heard a lot coming out of fall camp is Jake Ripp. He played a lot in special teams last year. Did see some time at linebacker. He's not going to be one of those undersized linebackers that we used to have here at Boise State, like Corey Hall. Or this kid's 6'3" and 240 pounds. I mean, that's pretty much how you draw a linebacker up if you built one from scratch. Danielson's been raving about him. I'm excited to see what he can do. Depth at this position, especially with Notriani having an injury history, injury past. Knock on wood. Hopefully that doesn't bite him again. Jake Ripp's going to see the field plenty. And then next you have Chase Martin. He was played as a true freshman last year. He saw time in every game and actually started the bowl game. You'll see the field. All these guys will probably take part in special teams. Linebackers are super important, just because of their body types and their mixture of speed and strength. And then my dark horse is a guy that honestly I haven't even heard his name said. It's in fall camp, but I watched his tape today and I just love him. Clay Martineau. He was the highest rated high school recruit coming in from last season. He had offers from University of Washington,
down Oregon,
and Oregon. Yep, and Oregon.
I was wondering if you were going to mention him.
Yeah, I watched his. He played linebacker and wide receiver on his highlights, and honestly could have done neither at the college level. Like I said, I haven't heard his name said during fall camp at all. But I think that's just one of those talents that maybe he finds a niche in special teams and then it just blossoms from there. But definitely a name to keep an eye on.
And one thing I've heard is that Jake Rip is just too talented to keep off the field.
Yeah.
Like he's creating a good problem at that position. Like they're gonna have to find a way to get him on the field. And I just hope it's not due to an injury.
Right.
I want to throw another name at you. He's a JUCO transfer, bounce back kid from Missouri State, Udoka Ezeani. They brought him in this year as part of the.
Yeah.
I was afraid to try and pronounce the name.
So,
I keep wondering how they're
So
going
we just kept him off the list.
I don't know. Is he a nickel? Is he a nickel? Like I'm not sure what they do with him. He's 6'1", not necessarily huge,
He's got
but
so much talent. He's so fast.
Yeah,
He's got incredible speed for his size.
and they brought him in for
find
a
place to
reason,
put
right?
him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, the viewers, the beauty of all of this is that everything's going to depend on what package the defense wants. All this talent gives the coaches options. Is it a run situation? We've got run stoppers. Is it a pass situation, which we're about to get into the secondary? But we've got some guys there. So this is all like boding very well for the Boise State defense heading into this season. Even if we like completely whiff on all our picks, there's some, well, not to use a buzzword, but dependable depth.
That was an Avalos curse word, wasn't it?
Dependable depth. Yeah, I thought I'd bring that one out. But anyways, anything else on linebackers?
No.
I'll throw a name out.
Good.
Wyatt Milkovich.
Oh,
You seen the neck on that kid?
Yeah.
Wyatt Milkovich. This kid had 144 tackles as a senior.
Wow.
20 for loss.
Wow.
4 sacks. He averaged over 13 tackles a game. Okay. This kid is, I mean, he's just a heat-seeking missile. He probably won't play this year, which is probably good. But oh my gosh, when he gets on the field, he's just going to destroy people. Just a name for the future to watch out. But he's going to be a baller.
And Chase, you're right. He's got the biggest neck since Van Der Esch.
I wasn't ready for the neck comment.
Large size.
He needs the what do you call it, the flak jacket or whatever.
He needs that cowboy collar, that big old thing on the back. Yeah. He has a built-in one. That neck's thick.
Yeah. Honestly, if he's the kind of kid that he's the kind of kid that he could transfer over and play fullback for a year if they've got enough linebackers to cover. This is a kid that just he seeks the violence of hits. That's how I would describe it. He loves to hit. You watch his video. He's fun. He's gonna be a fun one.
Don't give me hope that we're going to continue with the fullback position.
Don't give me hope.
Don't give me hope.
We need to be fullback you. Anyways, moving on. I guess I'll lead us off with the secondary, starting with the cornerback position. We've got 3 guys with starting experience, and then we've got some very nice, very capable backups. I think this is also going to be a bit of a rotation depending on formation, all that stuff. But our top 2, I believe, are going to be Amarian McCoy. Did I say that right? Amarian. And then Jeremiah Irby, the transfer from Cal. I believe Markel Reed is also going to be in there. He's had a long injury history, and I believe Last year was the first fully healthy season he has had in quite some time. He also gets a full off season where he doesn't have to do rehab. Now he gets to actually do or take part in the actual strength and conditioning. So we could see Markel Reed a heck of a lot more. It's just a little hard to predict now. So 3 guys with experience. My top 2 I'm going with are McCoy and Irby, though. And then we've also got the UW transfer, Devin Banks. That's going to be a very interesting one. I think he's going to see the field quite a bit. He's a junior, though, behind a group of seniors. And then the other one that I am so hyped for, I guess my dark horse, so to speak, Florida A&M FCS transfer and son of Ken Griffey Jr., Tevin Griffey, coming to the blue. I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
Give me a Griffey on the blue, and then like make it like our Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Like put them on the camera all like every 2 seconds. I want to see the Griffey family just hyped up in blue and orange. Like I love it. I'm rooting for Tevin Griffey. I want to see him on the field, see what he can do. He is a redshirt senior. I believe this is his last year of eligibility. So he didn't come here to ride the pine. He came here to play. So let's see him. I'm really looking forward to that. But so he's my dark horse. Just to reiterate, McCoy, Irby. We'll see Markel Reed quite a bit, and Devin Banks, the UW transfer. But moving forward, so that's corners, and that's all I've got. Kevin, I believe you have the safeties, which is not a contentious position at all.
Nah, not in the slightest. Everybody's been very happy with the play, and especially last year, they got a lot of accolades.
It was the strong suit of our defense last year.
And a lot of love. Yeah. So
no complaints.
Okay, yeah. /sarcasm. I think this year, I think we're going to see a flip. I think that free safety is going to be owned by Ty Benefield with Rodney Robinson backing him up. Benefield, there's just no way they can keep him off the field. Kid, he was that good last year. The only problem with last year was he just wasn't experienced enough with the system. But his talent was undeniable. So he will be a safety. Starter at free safety. Boundary, I still think it's going to be Tubner. Tubner is a lightning bolt kind of. I mean, he either really, really love his play or you kind of question his coverage ability.
There's no question that mustache though.
That mustache.
No. He's got outstanding facial hair. And he hits like a freaking Mack truck.
Can I show Tubner some love real quick?
Absolutely.
Because when that, especially in the run defense, and just when he's laying down the timber, like that guy really does genuinely remind me, and I'm a Seahawks fan, Cam Chancellor. Like he is not afraid to go just lay someone out, punish them, coming out of the secondary. He is a absolute beast in that regard, and that's something that I don't think a lot of fans appreciated, was that we do have a really big bopper in the secondary, and Tubner is that guy. He brings the attitude. He well, again, not to use another buzzword, but he brings the hammer.
Just too on the nose.
But no,
you're going to say he's a blue collar player next? Is that what you're going to say?
He is a blue collar former walk on. He worked straight out of the farm. I don't know if he's from a farm.
Boise State safeties. Okay, there's safeties we've had at Boise State. We've had some good ones. We've had, and I'm talking about physical. Okay, from Johnson to Skinner to Tubner, absolutely fits in with them. He really does. So that's about the highest. Even George Iloka, that's about the highest compliment I can give a safety, is that he fits in with that group. Okay. My only question is coverage. And to be honest, I don't even know if it's fair to knock Tubner for that, because last year our defensive line just did not get a whole lot of pressure on quarterbacks, and you cannot put coverage when the quarterback's got all day. You can't put coverage on the DBs. So I think there's a little bit of the responsibility for that goes on the D line as well as the DBs. So I know Tubner caught a lot of flack on social media for his coverage. I don't think it was all fair by any stretch. Um, it does need to improve that, not the coverage, not Tubner. Our coverage needs to improve because there's just no question. Our third down defense last year was atrocious. We had a better chance of stopping 3rd and 2 than we did 3rd and 13.
Just like me in college football 25.
Honestly.
Yeah.
It was automatic that teams were going to convert against that secondary on 3rd and long.
Honestly.
Automatic.
Yeah, but
It was terrible.
again, it was the defense. It's not just the secondary. That defensive line, as much as they were great at some things, we just didn't get it. We didn't generate a lot of pass rush, and you could see that because we went out and recruited a JC instant impact kid who was one of the best pass rushers in all of junior college. So the coaches knew that it was there. They tried to address it. Hopefully, it's improved this year because if it's not, again, you can't put it all on the safeties and the corners, but we'll be looking at a hard time stopping the pass again. So that needs to improve. But there is no doubt that the run coverage is phenomenal with Tubner and Benefield. Backing up both again, Robinson backing up Benefield, Zion Washington again backing up Tubner, just like last year. I expect Zion Washington to get a lot of play this year, even more than last year, and he played quite a bit last year. Nickel.
Did I see Washington is getting reps with like the first string?
Yeah. Oh yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Because he will. There's not a position on the team where there's not going to be injuries. It's just impossible. So we'll probably see Washington play some games, more than Tubner because as heavy as he hits, you're going to take some injuries. But I do think that Tubner will get the majority of the snaps at that boundary safety position. But yeah, there's no doubt Zion Washington will get his fair share as well. The interesting thing about safeties is you include nickel in that. Seiji Oladipo is one of the best. Who's his backup? He never came out last year. So who's his backup going to be? I even posed that on social media because I honestly don't know.
Kaniho? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, Kaniho is who it was last year. I actually got told that Zion Washington was spending time backing up nickel. So we might see Zion when he's not in for Tubner, in for Oladipo. So, that's how versatile he is.
Honestly, when I was researching the nickel, I kind of ended up in the same place. I was like, okay, are we going to see Shea Oladipo? But then who else? Like, is Zion? He got some reps there. Is Zion going to be there? But is it what if Tubner's off the field? So then who's going to play when it's like those like who's the backup? Is it Kaniho? Is it Shea? Is it Zion? Is like someone else who we don't know? So that's a good point. That's the same place I landed.
I think you got about 5 guys, maybe 6 you could stretch it to, who can be interchangeable, maybe not totally interchangeable, but they can step in and play the spots that they need to. Benefield played some boundary during the season last year, speaking of course, and we've got Robinson, who I know played a little bit of nickel too. So they're flexible, and especially guys like Oladipo and Rodney Robinson, they've got so much time in the system that they can move around fairly easily. But as far as backing them up, Kaniho's been there forever, so I would say that he probably is number one on depth past the guys we've talked about. I know Milo Lopez is listed as a backup. I don't remember him ever getting in a game last year other than special teams. So after the 5, 6 we've mentioned, I guess 6 we've mentioned, I don't really know of anybody that's going to step up at this point. Maybe there is, but I just don't think that there is at this point that we know of. Now, as far as dark horses, I have 2. First is Gabe Tahir.
Ooh,
redshirted last year. I've heard that he came in basically looking like a linebacker.
He's been getting some buzz. I've heard. Yeah,
he's going to be. They're going to have to find a way to get him on the field. I don't know what his exact position is. If he's free, if he's boundary, possibly even nickel. But he's just so talented. They're going to have to find a spot for him. And the next one is a true freshman, Travis Anderson. Kid is a
Oh yeah.
baller. Travis Anderson, uh, he has that football IQ that will just blow you out of the water. So he sees every once in a while you'll see a kid who, yeah, he's got the talent, he's got everything else, but he just looks like he's playing on easy mode. And that's Travis Anderson. The game is slowed down for him. And when he gets on the field, you'll see why. This kid, he sees what's going to happen before it happens, and he'll be there. So I think he's going to be our next big star in the safety. Well, besides Benefield, of course, but I think that it's not going to be long before Travis Anderson earns some playing time.
Excellent. Well, viewers, to round us off, I did not forget about the special team. So the special team.
Speaking of glorious mullets.
Yes.
Yeah.
How could you forget special teams on this team?
Yeah.
Right.
So we had a very interesting battle for the starting kicker, but in the end, Jonah Dalmas did win.
They eked it out, yeah.
Really tight. He just
barely.
I will say, and I'm probably going to mispronounce this name, so I am sorry, but we had an interesting transfer. The San Jose State kicker Karen Shive, if I have that right. He transferred in. He is he a junior? I think he has one more year of eligibility after this, so he could be after Dalmas retires, he could be a bridge, because we also had another transfer of Jarrett Reeser. He started his career at Michigan State, I believe. There's a story there, but I believe he walked on midseason, transferred to San Diego State, and then transferred here. So we are his third school, and I believe he is a sophomore, something like that, one or the other. So but Reeser also, he's a kicker and a punter. So then moving over to the punting position, former Boise State quarterback won the job as punter. James Ferguson Reynolds will be your guy.
Perfect completion.
Highest QBR in the nation, I hear.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think so.
And then starting at long snapper, we got to give the long snappers a little bit of love on the Bronco Country Roundup. It is junior Mason Hutton, or I believe he is a junior. And then we have a freshman, Ty Smith, who is learning the ropes. Then moving forward, kick return and punt return. We got a Utah State transfer, Cooper Jones. So look for him. I do not know what number he wears, but I do know that he came to us as a wide receiver. He's going to be in that specialist role of kick return, punt return, and he's about 5'6". So he could be our next Darren Sproles, which honestly, the first thing that comes to mind when I saw the height is that trick play we used to run in the Harsin era, where he had one guy catch the ball and another guy lay down in the end zone. That's the first thing that came to mind. I was like, ooh, okay, candidate for that. You can hide him in the end zone and then sneak him off. What?
Cooper Jones is
No, I just thought it was funny.
Yeah, no.
So Jones is number 18.
Number 18. Okay.
So I believe that's Tim Gilligan's nephew.
It is.
Yes.
Former Bronco, Tim Gilligan.
All 5'6", 182 pounds of him.
Yep.
Hey, 182 pounds on 5'6".
A legacy player.
Is stocky.
The bowling ball.
Yep.
He is.
Yeah.
He's a fearless returner. He's going to be fun to watch.
Was that Utah kid, Britton Covey? Remember how he returned kicks forever? That's what he reminds me of.
Yep.
So watch out. We might have our own Darren Sproles here. But that otherwise, last year it was Caden Dudley and then Chase Penry on kick and punt return respectively. So those guys could be also slated to return to those roles. Heaven forbid. And then I was seeing that Latrell Caples or someone was like talking about, there was like word about that. And all I can say is please no. Please. No.
Yeah.
No point.
Yeah, just okay.
Don't want to risk the injury.
Yeah.
Honestly, we don't need them to be doing that.
Yeah, please no. But anyways, that brings us to the end of another episode of the Bronco Country Roundup. Thank you so much for listening, and let us know in the comments what you think we got wrong, who you think will start at whatever position where you think we are just morons, and let us know. But anyways, have a great night. Go Broncos. We will be back next week.